Hello, work wifeys. Welcome to another episode of Dear Work Wives. Hi, Emily.
Hello. Happy January 9th.
Yeah, this is our second January 2024 episode, huh?
It is.
But we're still living in the past right now.
We are currently living in 2023. So I can't wait to come back, and it's going to be like January 20th, and we're going to be talking about our Christmas break. But, such is life of efficiency focused podcasters,
Yeah. I wonder if they care, like that we're
so weird with our timing.
I guess they can only tell because
we constantly bring it up.
Well, that too. We won't stop talking about it, but also because of the holidays. Like if it was just like normal weeks, then it wouldn't make any difference. But yeah, we're probably going to give you some sort of holiday update next week.
Yes, we will. For sure. We have to. I'm so excited.
You're
going to be past that.
The holidays.
You're already going to have given up on some of your New Year's resolutions, and we'll still be talking about Christmas morning with our kids.
In real life, we're right there with you, but
yeah. No. My resolutions are going to stick this year. No, they're not. I don't make resolutions.
Okay.
I need to decide what my goals are going to be. I'm really starting to. Did you get a journal? You were supposed to send me a link.
I just bought it on Amazon the other day because I needed something by the end of the day. And if you ordered like,
if you ordered
$25,
yeah,
just added this one for like $10. It's not fancy. I'll send you the link.
Is it it's just a regular journal? Then is it a bullet journal or a lined journal?
Okay, so it's just a regular one, but like on this side, it has like
the plans for the days. Okay.
And on this side, it has like, I don't know if you can see like bullet dots.
Oh yeah. Yep. So you can bullet. It's like a half and half.
I thought I had like the best of both worlds here of like, okay, I could like do some bullet journal stuff, but still have like a week and a month view. I
have been getting nothing but bullet journal videos on TikTok, which I'm excited about because I think some of these tracker ideas are really cool.
I'm just like not very artistic, and so I worry I won't be able to do it well, and then I'll be disappointed.
You'll be fine. Get some stamps or stickers.
I did see some on Amazon that like come with stencils though.
Ooh, or get stickers
for like people like me who are not good at like
calligraphy,
drawing the lines. Calligraphy. Forget it.
My best friend is so good at calligraphy, and I'm like, she had hand calligraphied all of her wedding invitation envelopes, and I was like, oh, you're so fancy. I just bought a stamp.
Oh my gosh, could never be me.
No, me neither.
No.
So,
yeah. So, I wanted to tell you what's going on in my world today.
Oh, right. Yes. You actually made stop talking about this and said, wait, we have to hit record. So
let's just do this update on the podcast, okay? So Tyler's mom lives in Tennessee. We went and saw her in October, and she always talks about like, oh, I'm so lonely, like I want to come for the holidays or whatever. And we always offer to like pay for her flight or, open invitation, like, yes, come. But she hasn't been on a plane since she was 12 years old. She's only been on a plane one time in her whole life. Okay. She lives in the same town that like her dad was born in, like this is the
roots
type
are
of
deep. Yeah.
person that we're talking about. Okay. Like she doesn't travel or go far. And if she does, she's driving. I think she's just like nervous about the whole process, like the plane itself, but also like getting through security. And
it's a lot. It is definitely a lot.
Packing. Like she went when she was 12 years old. So like she has never flown in a post 9/11 world, you know? Like I'm sure she doesn't remember anyways, but like the level of security and like what you can and can't bring, I think all of that like just gives her
overwhelming
anxiety.
I'm with her. I get it.
She's late to everything, so I can't imagine her getting to a flight on time,
know?
Mm-hmm. Whenever she comes, like, whether it's in her car or last, when we went in October, we got, like, an Airbnb, and then she lives still, like, 45 to 60 minutes outside of Chattanooga, and so instead of, like, coming in and out every day to see us, like, she just stayed with us at the Airbnb.
Right.
And when I tell you that she brought like more things than I brought for my entire family, including 2 small children who wear
Right.
diapers, well, one who wears diapers, like I'm not exaggerating. Like she brought way more than us. And she's one person.
Yeah. One
And she
adult.
never uses like 90% of the things,
Of
but
course. Yeah.
she needs them all. And so even the idea of packing and being limited on your packing versus like going in a car is like very
Right.
whoa, you know?
Mhm.
So we invited her to come for Christmas this year. She wanted to come. In order to do that, Tyler flew up there today on his own.
Yeah.
He's spending the night at a hotel because he will not stay at her house.
Yeah.
And tomorrow he's going to help her fly back. So they're flying back together tomorrow.
Oh.
So basically he's like going to get his mom.
Oh, that's so cute.
And
What a good
then
son.
I know on the way back, we're hoping that she'll
Be okay.
okay. You know, we'll help obviously pack her up and get her to the airport and
Make sure
wait
she
for her to
gets
get through
through.
security and everything. But it's a pretty small airport. Like she's going to fly out of the St. Pete airport. So it's pretty small. It should be pretty easy versus like going through Tampa by herself.
Which is still like not a, although
Still an
Tampa
easy
has
airport.
the monorail.
The tram.
Mhm.
Yeah, like you got to go on the tram.
Yeah.
And there's multiple terminals. So she needs to build up to that. We don't want to, can't
Don't
start there. She'll get lost. So they both should be back tomorrow, but he's gone for
the night, for 2 days. So you get the night to yourself tonight, is what I'm
with
hearing.
my 2 children. Yes.
I mean, that's not value. Go take him to get popsicles. I think you should do that. You're like, no, Emily.
Well, the problem is that Kit has gymnastics and swimming tonight, so it's not like an easy night for
you to be
activities.
solo. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
well,
okay.
When we come visit, can we get popsicles?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
We love popsicles.
Perfect.
Coco often tries to open the freezer and tell me, popsicle? Popsicle? Is it?
Bless.
No, it's 8 a.m. You're not having a popsicle.
Right. Well,
but I did make popsicles for them, which are basically just
smoothies.
Fruit, and so sometimes I do give them those whenever they want.
Frozen smoothie.
I like made a smoothie and then froze it.
Yeah, it's genius.
Here's a popsicle.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, that's lovely. I can't wait to hear about Tyler's adventure. Actually, he gets the night to himself in a hotel tonight.
That is the real.
And if he flew up today, like it's an hour flight, so he gets the whole day and night to himself. He's already gone.
Yeah, he left.
I guess he's going to help his mom pack.
I don't know, because actually he had to with the smaller airport. There's not flights every day to Chattanooga, so actually he had to have a connection in Atlanta. So he flew out of Tampa today.
Right.
Had to stop in Atlanta. I think that his layover was a couple hours, but he's like excited to go walk around and get something to eat.
I love that stuff. Like I will get to the airport as early as possible. Sit there and read my book. Like, got to make sure my gate exists, and then I'm free.
He hasn't flown like by himself since we've had the children, right. So he's probably gonna be like trying to fly somewhere every other week now just to get away from us. You know,
I love it. My hobby is flying places. Like, I love that.
And then I can just come back. I just turn around and come back.
Bless. Okay, well, we can't wait to hear the update on how it goes.
Did you ever watch like the new Real Housewives of New York season?
Yeah. Of course. Why are you asking me this?
Sorry to question you.
Yeah. Her husband who flies to Vietnam just to get banh mi. To use his points, right?
Like a 30-hour flight just to get,
they have to get a certain amount of miles. I think like rich people, they have these mileage programs, and like the more miles you get, the more your rewards are or something. So like,
you like earn more status, which then on like all your flights next year, you could be in first class or something for no additional cost because of your status, or whatever it is. You know?
I don't ever have to worry about status.
Yeah, me either.
I'm never gonna climb much higher than I currently am.
But like, fly to Vietnam to get more points, and he had like 2 small twin boys, I think,
Babies.
that were like a year old. So he's
Yeah.
probably like, yeah, I gotta
This
go.
is great. He probably flew first class with like lay down beds.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just a dream. That is my
Yeah.
dream. My dream is to fly somewhere in like one of those business classes where the seats turn into beds. Like that's like a bucket list
Mm.
item for me. Like I want
Yeah.
to fly first class to like even Scotland's not far enough away because it's only like a 6-hour flight or something. I need to do like
Australia,
Australia or somewhere like
South
farther in
Africa.
Europe or something like that, you know?
There's
That's
a
my goal.
flight that I took from Atlanta all the way to Johannesburg.
Whew.
It's like the 7th longest flight in the world or
Yeah.
something. And it's like a solid 17, 18 hours.
Were you just in a regular
Like
seat?
I was in like economy plus. So like
Right.
it was not a lay flat or anything.
Yeah.
But I think I had like a little bit more room. And I was at the bulkhead, so I had like a little bit more space. But
Yeah.
I was flying, I think it was Lufthansa, which is actually a really great airline to
Mhm.
fly internationally too.
Yes. Not that
I
I've
remember they gave
had to
me
do
like,
it, but
yeah. I remember they gave me like compression socks and things like that.
right. I want
I
the
got like
little
a
kit.
little,
I want the little
I got a
kit.
little kit, even though I was
Yeah.
not in any sort of
Yeah.
special upgrade.
I just want to like
I definitely
be.
couldn't afford the lay flat at the time.
It just looks so fun, and then you get all these food, like all the food and the meals, and it just looks so
Yeah,
like I'm like that. That could be the trip for me. Just doing the flight. Like
right.
I just want to experience that once in my life.
Okay.
Goals.
Goals for you, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I wanted to do a little activity.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay. So and this is really a selfish activity because I was
Perfect.
trying to think of toxic, like leadership traits or things that are like toxic leadership that at surface level may not seem like toxic leadership.
Oh, okay.
So let
Like
me give you an example.
yeah.
Like checking in while you're on vacation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Yeah.
you might think like that's the right thing to do. That's a great thing to do. I'm so supportive of my team, but really like
Yeah.
you're showing your team that you should also check in from vacation, like
Yeah.
that everybody works all the time
Yes.
and that you don't trust your team, right?
Yeah.
So it's like at face value, it's like not the most toxic thing,
Mhm.
but it's still kind of toxic leadership.
Yeah.
Can
Absolutely.
turn into it.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
I think like the most toxic behavior that I can see masquerading as like
Like helpful?
helpful / supportive is it's just the general saying one thing but doing another. Like oh, like
Mm.
we respect boundary. Like we even like with the work day, we don't work weekends, but then working on the weekend. And I will be fully admit that I actually like I do this. You know, like I am a huge advocate at Run the Clockwork for being like everyone deserves their downtime and whatever. But like I also will push hard, like working evenings or weekends to get something done because I want it off my
Mhm.
plate. So I have to recognize that like it's not always toxic. It's like people have autonomy over their own workload.
Yeah.
So that's when it's not toxic. And so that's why I think this is one
Mhm.
that's like sneakily hiding, but it's
Right.
we respect like we don't work after hours or whatever, but you're consistently messaging people after hours, like setting unrealistic deadlines, not being accommodating to life, but then you're saying, "Oh, but like our most important thing is work-life balance," but your actions aren't matching that.
Yeah.
You know? I think
Yeah,
that's
one
a
of mine was
problem.
like working 24/7 or like sending an email at 4 a.m. or
Yeah.
or 10 p.m. and um like is it toxic? Not fully, right? Like we're not yelling at people, we're not abusing people, but it
We're not
creates this like
we're modeling
environment that
behavior that we and I will be
yeah.
fully transparent that I think it's something I actually am like starting the annual planning meeting agenda for our team and like starting to map some of that stuff out. And I do think it's something that like our team maybe does need to get back to is remembering like we have all kind of let our boundaries slip and people are having Slack conversations at 5 a.m. and still having them at 8 p.m. Like,
Mhm.
it's like, are we being autonomous with our schedules, or are we starting to perpetuate a culture of we're always available? I don't know if you meant to go there with this question, but it's just something that's been on my mind. I noticed, especially over the last few weeks, like I'll get up and I'll like check my Slack. And then yesterday I did my end of day stand up at like 4:30. And then I started
Mhm.
cooking dinner and I was going to meet a friend and I was like, well, let me just go check Slack to make sure I didn't miss anything. Cause it was like 6:30. And I was like, I already did, I'm done for the day. So I'm
Yeah.
just curious if other people are kind of experiencing, like, I think the pendulum between autonomous schedules and also we should have boundaries can swing really far on either side. I didn't explain that right, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
We
like
have this conversation a lot, so I know
but
it's
it's
not
like
perfect.
who is responsible for that, right? Like I
I'm
think
the
that's
worst
the
for it.
yeah, but it's like I could see it becoming toxic like if like I'm always doing it and people felt
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we should always do it." But then I also understand that like some people
Work
enjoy
differently.
working those hours and then
Yeah.
they take like a big chunk of time off during the day or whatever. So I think it's like the check-in of for each individual and the boundaries that you hold. And I think that comes from leadership of like I'm glad that it's on our annual planning of like it is like our culture is not that you're working 24/7, right? Like you do
Yeah.
not need to be checking in on the slacks, like they can wait.
Yeah.
If that is your work schedule, that's fine, but like the onus is on you all to
Yeah.
protect your boundaries and your schedule and not feel like you need to be responding to people just because their schedule is different than yours, because we have people that are like complete opposite ends of the spectrum, which
Like
makes
Sandy will be wrapping up for the day and Julie's starting for the day. Because Sandy's such a night owl and Julie is such a morning person, you know? So
yeah, this is like my best friend in college. I don't know if I've told you this before, but we both lived at the sorority house and she was like a graphic design major, so very art focused, like
yeah.
she's a creative and she would be in the studio like all night working.
Yeah.
And then I used to work at the gym and I would be waking up at like 4:30 and leaving the sorority house because my shift at I used to work at the gym started at 5 a.m. And
Right.
so we would be like ships passing in the night. We would always see each other like in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, we're going to bed, night night.
Yeah.
And like I'm going to start my day. Bye.
yeah.
See you later.
yeah.
Like literally she was still on yesterday and I was waking up for
I
the day. And
know.
that's how some of our team is.
Yeah. I have this with a girlfriend
And
who
like that's just like kind of how we work. Like she worked better at night and
and she
I
worked.
work better
Yeah.
in the morning, you
Right.
know?
No, and I think it's just the reminders of like what the behaviors that we're actually modeling is working when works best for you, not working all
Mhm.
the time. And so actually what does work best for me is like a big chunk in the morning, then my brain dead in the afternoon, and then sometimes I get a spark in the evening. So like I'm not working all day, but like it's so hard to
Yeah.
see that. Like if we were in an office, you'd see me leave for 4 or 5 hours in the middle of the day, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
decide, oh, I'm just gonna, plug away at this project. So I think it's just reminding people that like this is not toxic behavior. Do not work all the time. Just work when works best for your brain, which
Yeah, and
could
like
be at
these are
various times of the day.
yeah, and like these are the expectations and these are not the expectations, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah. So, but I do think that that's usually not the case, and people are just working all
Mhm.
the time and telling people, "Oh, you don't have to," but like modeling different behavior, and it's really hard for like people copy the behaviors they see,
Right.
not what they are told to do because it's not congruent,
Mhm.
especially from their
Yeah.
leadership, because if they have any sort of aspirations, they're going to start modeling behaviors that their leaderships are doing because they want to grow into those roles. So like, well, then I guess that's what I have
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, which just like leaves out so many pieces, right? Like that we just discussed of like
Yeah.
how you work best and your current life situation. And
Yeah.
I mean, Yeah. So, working 24/7 and all of that can be a toxic workplace behavior if it's not being communicated. Well, working 24/7 is a toxic workplace behavior.
Yeah.
Working random odd hours can be seen as a toxic workplace behavior if you're not also communicating
Mm-hmm.
the expectations and why maybe you're working those
Yeah.
weird ass hours, you know?
Yeah. Did you have any other examples?
I was thinking of like when someone makes a decision and then you change it.
Oh, it's the worst. Or asking people for opinions, but then not taking any of those opinions into consideration.
Oh, that's a good one, right? Like asking for feedback and then not, or even like asking people to do surveys and then like doing nothing with
Doing
it.
nothing with it. So
Asking for
awful.
people for opinions and then literally doing the opposite. That's even more toxic, I
Yeah.
think. Like just don't ask if you knew
Yeah.
what you were gonna do the whole time.
Yeah.
Or at least explain why. I think most people just
Yeah.
want to seem like they're, trying to engage people, but
Yeah.
don't actually care. I mean, the more like obvious ones are like micromanagement, um, verbal abuse.
Yeah.
Like,
Of course.
yeah, those are a little bit more obvious. But I was curious of like the ones that sometimes fly under the radar or someone wouldn't. I'm thinking of like maybe a leader is unaware that these things are toxic,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah. Like they innocently do not know. They're just doing them,
Yeah.
And it's like, well, this
Yeah.
is how this is being perceived. So even if that's not your intention, like just clear that up.
I think one of them, just like saying that, is like not having direct or transparent communication. Like,
Yeah.
because leaders are like so afraid sometimes to have hard conversations, then they just don't have conversations at all and then let things get worse and worse. Then we're not meeting expectations, but the person doesn't even know that. Like,
Yeah.
that feels not good. Or then you're just going to like let the person go because they haven't met expectations, but you never told them what the expectations were. Like, that feels like
The worst.
low key toxic behavior,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I can't stand when people are like, I think I'm going to let this person go because they're not meeting my expectations. And I'm like, well, what are your expectations?
And they don't know.
And they
They can't
don't
articulate
really
it.
know.
Yeah.
They can't articulate it because it's just it's just a feeling that I have. And I'm like, no,
They're just not
expectations are
cutting
not.
it. At what? What are they not
Yeah,
cutting it at?
cutting
Be
what?
specific. How are they ever going to
Yeah,
cut
be
it if you don't
specific
tell
because
them what to cut?
yeah, like if you don't know, they don't know. So how would they meet something that they're blatantly unaware of?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I was just curious.
Yeah.
Let us know if you have any out there.
Yeah. Passive aggressive toxicity. Anything in your workplace happening or something happening with your leader that like they just feel so out of touch with the reality of your workplace. That's always a good one because I think, we hear a lot of the big horror stories. But those
Yeah.
decisions are actually easier. Like if your workplace is actually scary or
Yeah.
aggressively toxic, it's easy to be like, yeah, I'm leaving. But it's some of this like death by a thousand cuts toxicity, which is actually much harder to
More.
endure and on a
Yeah, and like
long
more pervasive too.
yeah, because you're like, am I like seeing something like is this happening? Am I exact? Then it becomes this whole like psychological warfare game of am I the
Mhm.
problem? Are they the problem? Is like what's happening here?
Yeah, is this normal?
Yeah.
Like, do I just deal with
Do I have to just deal
this?
with this? Is this just what it's like
Yeah.
to work for other people? And the answer should be no.
Yeah, like what are some low key
Yeah.
toxic workplace behaviors? I'm working on a post, that's why.
Okay. I'm excited to
So
read it.
hopefully by the time this episode drops, it'll already be live.
We
One
got
would
3
hope.
weeks, so
Oh, should we do some stories?
let's do it.
Okay, one is just like an Instagram story that I saw, and I just had to talk about it because it's like way when we're talking about like low key
Blatant.
versus high key.
Yeah. Is it high key?
Gosh dang it! This thing logged me out.
Every
And
time.
I know. I'm like, yo, I'm just trying to record a podcast here.
Right?
Like,
Like technology is not our friend.
now it wants me to like put my password back in. Are you kidding me? Ain't nobody got time for that. I'll just pull it
No,
up on
I
my
don't know a
phone.
single password, so I can't put any passwords in anything.
I know. Like, then I would have to go all the way like to my LastPass. Okay, this is the post from
Okay.
I saw it on Instagram. Woman donates kidney to her boss and then gets fired for taking too long to recover.
Isn't that wild? I like
So she's suing him now,
the wrongful
but
dismissal. Yeah.
yeah, alleged. I just thought that was like so wild.
That's so America.
Like
Like if
you owe her
America
for the
was a
rest of your
headline, it
life.
would be that. Sorry.
Yeah,
Love you.
like she literally kept you alive.
She gave you
And then
life
you
and
fired her.
risked her own life. Like
Mhm.
those like I don't care what anytime you go into any sort of procedure, like there's a risk to your life.
Yeah,
And also, yeah, I know we
it
can
helps.
survive with one kidney, but there's a wait, hold on. There's a reason we have as much as we have, and you have less if you give some away. So it's just wild to me. The audacity.
Like she only has one left now, you know?
Right.
And then she got fired.
Yeah.
Whereas
That's
if you just wouldn't
disgusting.
have given it to her at all, then you probably wouldn't have got fired because
Yeah.
you would have needed the time. You wouldn't have needed the time to recover and stuff.
Yeah.
No. So I just had to share that. All right, next story for today. This one you may have submitted, but we'll see.
Okay.
My manager talks too much. Really in need of some advice. My manager talks to me way too much. She'll be working from home and will call me for an hour and a half plus sometimes. It really bothers me because I'm not really a very social person and I find myself feeling drained. She does it when she is bored or procrastinating something that she doesn't want to do. I don't necessarily have anything urgent to do, but it's just frustrating. Any advice on excuses to get her off the phone? Did you submit this?
No. Did you?
How dare
About
you?
me?
Not me.
No, that's the problem. It's not a problem if we're both like, hey, can we talk more?
Oh, okay. So it wasn't you.
No. Um that's hard. Can you
So
just
hard.
if she calls you, can you just be like, oh, I have 15 minutes? Like, can you go into the calls setting up boundaries?
I mean, she probably knows what's like on her plate because she's her boss.
Right.
But
What do you even do in that situation? You have to tell them. What would you do
yeah,
if I just wanted to talk to you more? Like, are they talking about work or
I don't. Doesn't
personal?
sound like it. You know,
Yeah.
even maybe, but I guess I would communicate that I haven't been getting my work done or something. You know, like
Yeah.
I would be like, and what if they're like, "Oh, that's okay." No, but I want to get my work done.
Right.
Um, or maybe I would communicate that like the way I work best is by not being distracted. Like if I get distracted, it's really hard for me to like get back and refocused.
Mhm.
So like during the day, I really need like focused work time
Right.
to do my best. And I really want to be doing my best. And so
Yes.
if we could either like have more planned or scheduled phone calls at the beginning, and I would communicate like what time I'm available for those
Yeah.
and see how they respond, I guess. And if they respond poorly, then I would probably go to HR after that.
Yeah, if you have one.
Yeah, if you have one.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea of just being like, I am, working on being more efficient in my job. One of those things is calendar blocking, and like, I need X time to X time to work. And I'm only available for like extra conversations at this time. That's so awkward though.
Or something you could do is just start talking about yourself or something like very random that's going to bore her to tears. I
Yeah.
imagine that she's talking about herself most of the time, you know,
Right.
because
Just Jedi mind trick her off the call.
yeah,
Perfect. That also could work, but like
it
that's a lot of
could.
effort to just be like,
I know.
I think you could just do like, I gotta
Like
go.
I know, I gotta go. I'm having a bathroom emergency, but it's only gonna work like one time, you know?
Or just every time. Just be like, I gotta go finish project, or I've gotta whatever, you know, just I gotta
Yeah,
go. Like we said in that other episode, like
yeah.
just no is a complete sentence, like just I have to leave or goodbye, you know?
Have you ever been on a phone call with someone who will not let you like say goodbye, or the goodbying takes like 20
Yes.
minutes and you're like, what is happening right now?
Yes. I
I was trying to
absolutely
say
have.
goodbye 20 minutes ago.
I absolutely have,
I feel
yeah.
like I feel like she does that.
Mm-hmm. It's like a Baba thing. The grandparent
I was gonna
thing.
say Tyler's mom does this, but I'm
Yeah.
like, get off the
We
phone.
just have
He's
to
like,
hang
I'm trying.
yeah. We got to the point
Like,
where we
I've
just had
been
to hang
trying
up.
for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like, okay, I gotta go, bye. And she'd be like, oh, did I tell you about like she just keeps going?
Just hang up. Just be really firm
You
and you're
call
like, I
back.
have to go, like I have to go finish XYZ, or I have to go whatever you have to do. Like I have to go take
Hey,
some
our kids will
medication.
be
Like, bye.
our kids will be screaming in the background. She's still talking.
I love that.
She's
It's a
like, I gotta go
thing,
help Adrian or she's gonna divorce me. Can't you hear these children?
right?
Which
Oh
is true.
gosh.
You know, that's
Yeah.
not even a lie. You better get over here
Yeah.
before I lose my mind. All right. I think we helped you as much as we can help
Yeah.
because that's a tough one.
It is also really you just have to like you've created expectations of behavior, and now you need to create new expectations of behavior. Unfortunately,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. You've allowed it. You've trained her that it's okay. So now we got to start moving the other direction, train her that it's
not
gonna
okay.
start stopping or getting shorter, or it needs to be scheduled because you have like things that you need to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I also saw this TikTok where a really great way to hang up on someone is to all of a sudden put your phone in airplane mode and it'll just sounds like it disconnects, you know?
Yes. Like the call was dropped.
Yeah, like the call was dropped.
Yeah. Then you
'Cause it
just
was.
text, sorry, the call was dropped, but I gotta run anyway, so I'll talk to you later. You
Oh, my
could
phone's
pull
not
that
working
every
right
so
now.
often, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this one is interesting. So this is about I'll read part of it because it's kind of long, but they said, I accidentally outdressed management. Okay. So they work in a small laid back office and no one tends to dress up. Our company has several local clients, so we hosted a holiday party and invited the clients as a thank you. My manager said that she was going to take some photos of us at the event for our company's Facebook page. So to look nice. She didn't define look nice, but I took this as dress up. So that's what I did. I wore a dress, nice shoes, makeup, jewelry, and had my hair curled. Many of my coworkers wore our company t-shirt and jeans. My boss wore jeans with a nice sweater, but it was still jeans and not too dressed up. So now in the last 2 weeks, my boss has been kind of dismissive to me. And I also feel like I was left out of a meeting that I should have been on. I just thought we were supposed to dress up. Any advice or similar experience? I'm starting to think that it's better to underdress than to overdress at office parties.
No.
If someone is mad at you because you dress better than them, then that's a them problem.
Dress for the job. You dress for yourself. Dress for literally nobody else on the planet except for yourself. Clothing is a social construct. Appropriateness,
appropriateness of clothing, professionalism of clothing.
Yeah, is a social construct. I follow this one, or I get fed a lot of content from this one TikToker on TikTok, obviously. And she's like an adjuster, but she has the most gorgeous girly style. Like she dresses to the nines, and she's like, I don't fit in my office, but I do not care, you know? Just be like Elle Woods and wear whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And if she's insecure because of your wardrobe, like that's definitely a reflection of them and not you.
Yeah, like that's a them thing.
Yeah.
You wear what you want. Whatever makes you feel good. That's what you
Yeah.
wear. And I would much rather be overdressed than underdressed,
At any
you
sort of
know?
function,
Like, personally.
100%. Like within reason. I'm not sure I'm in a ball gown if that's not what's called for at the event, but there's nothing worse, in my opinion, than being underdressed in a professional setting. That's why I panic so much
Yeah.
about it.
Or at, like, a wedding or something.
Yeah.
My facialist person, I go to her, like, usually once a month now, and I just love her, and so we talk a lot.
Yeah.
She was telling me that, like, actually one of her clients, like, one of her clients, like me or whatever,
Yeah.
invited her to their wedding. Okay. So she and her daughter, her like 20-year-old daughter, went to this wedding, and it said like black tie wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's like a very formal wedding,
Very
right?
formal. Yeah.
Like
Ball
the most
gowns,
formal you can get.
tuxes. Yeah. Like it's as formal.
Okay.
Floor length gowns for sure.
Like the most formal of weddings.
Yeah.
So they were dressed appropriately in like gowns, like very nice,
Yes.
like beautiful
Long.
gowns.
Yeah.
And she said that they were so overdressed for this wedding that she was just like, her daughter, because she took her like 21-year-old daughter, and her daughter was like, Mom, like, what is going on? Why is everyone staring at us? Why are we the only ones dressed like this? And she said it was like an outdoor, like way casual. She said like people were not wearing black tie. They were the like one of the only people wearing like black tie attire. I'm like, did they not know what black tie attire was when they put that on the invitation?
On the invitation?
Like, I don't think so. She's like, but I was glad with what we wore. Like I felt good and beautiful.
Yeah.
And it said black tie, so I followed it, even
Yeah.
though like maybe we stood out. Like I would rather stand out because of that versus like
The
because I wore
opposite?
jeans or something,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
Wild.
oh my gosh. How do they not, if you're having a wedding, don't you at least like Google what is black tie?
Yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh.
but again,
Yeah.
much more comfortable to be overdressed than underdressed. Like you don't want to go to a black tie wedding in jeans.
Oh my
and a
gosh.
sweater.
Absolutely not.
Which she said basically people were kind of wearing that. Like
I wouldn't even want to go to a black tie wedding in like a
cocktail
linen suit and a cocktail dress. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's got to be like full suit, floor length dress, at least T length, at least. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But then again, I literally just said that dressing is a social construct.
It's a social construct, and wear whatever you want.
So I guess
We're
I'm just a
working on it.
hypocrite. I guess maybe it's different, like because there's a dress code versus just dressing for yourself. You know what I mean? Because even within
like look nice,
even within dress codes, like you can interpret black tie and show like who you are, and some people will dress it up or dress it way down as much as you can dress down black tie, but that is one that like exists. But like, what the heck does business casual mean? Maybe it probably exists as much as black tie does to people, like dark jeans and when I think of business casual for a man, I'm thinking like dark jeans and a button up.
Or like khakis and a button up. I think of like, khakis and a button up or something.
Always
for women, it's so much harder.
So much harder.
I guess, and then I guess like what business formal, business professional, is that the term?
Right.
Is like a suit?
A suit, like business. You think of like a business dress, you know, it's like a shift dress in a really stiff material, and it's navy or black or maybe burgundy.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really boring. Yeah.
Or a suit. For women.
Yeah. But not like a suit that's like popular now where it's like shorts.
No. Like a suit, like a pencil skirt and a jacket, or a dress and a jacket, or pants and like trousers and a jacket. But what's business casual for women? Like a blouse and pants?
A dress that's not a suit. Black pants and a top, or like pants and a top but without a suit jacket. But that seems like not even casual. That's
I'm Googling it.
Like, is it jeans? Are jeans business casual, or is that too casual?
Usually women's dress code can qualify as business casual if they wear a combination of skirts, jackets, blouses, closed-toed shoes, and various items. Some workplaces may even allow sandals or peep-toe shoes, but double check.
Oh, a peep toe.
So what the heck is business formal? What is business formal for women? Dark pants or skirt suits, pantyhose, crisp button-downs, classic blouses, and neutral pumps. That's business formal.
So like lawyer
Yeah.
suits.
Like a suit versus separates, essentially, which is also kind of what we said for men.
Yeah. Okay. Good thing I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon.
Remember when we were at an event and I was like, can I wear ripped jeans? And then there was people, you were like, girl,
You can wear whatever you want.
you wear whatever you want. And then there was people in suits and there was people in like on the last day we were wearing cutoff jean shorts. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And no one batted an eye.
Yeah.
No one cared.
Yeah.
Because it was like, wear what you feel good in. So, all right, last story.
Okay.
This one's from, sounds like an entrepreneur, like starting their business. And they said, charging my family for marketing. How do I do this? So I've designed a logo, created a Facebook page and an Instagram page, and scheduled content for my aunt and uncle's company. It took me a total of like 13 to 14 hours, as well as going back and forth with some of the logo design. They said if I could avoid charging an arm and a leg, that would be great. I want to give them some kind of discount. I was thinking of charging like $250. Would love some input and advice. So my advice is, number one, you need to set a price before you start doing all this work.
Yeah. Before you start.
Like for everyone that you're working with, right? Like don't go do a bunch of work and then be like, oops, forgot to charge.
I think it'll be
the price
this time. Yeah, no, that's terrible.
Then you're just going to feel like you need to like discount it or work for less because you're uncomfortable with the pricing and they didn't actually agree to the pricing, right? Like they need to agree to the pricing before you spend a bunch of time on it.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Sure, you can do like discounts for your friends and family, but it also sounds like you don't really have a pricing structure set up at all. Like, I don't know, is that a discount? Is it not like 13 to 14 hours for $250? Let's see, what is that?
Like $10.
I can't do math because $17, almost $18 an hour.
That's like,
okay, so it's not
terrible.
Bad. Like if you're just starting your business, if that's what you want to be, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's good. Like that's a good rate. I think that makes a ton of sense. And then you can, especially for a discount for a family member, and then you can start working your way up from there. So I think it's a good price, but I would encourage you like establish that up front so that there's not this questioning. And so they're not feeling like, oh God, what is this going to cost us? And you're not feeling like, oh, I should just do it for free. Like, no, don't do it for free.
Yeah.
Like you did a lot of work and they're obviously, you know, willing to pay you. But you could also get a testimonial and stuff from them for doing it for a lower rate as well.
Yeah.
But even like babysitters. So we had like a babysitter last week that normally we just use our nanny, but she was unavailable. And so I used one of like Kit's old teachers from her school. And I was like, before she came up, like she agreed to the times and whatever. And I was like, okay, well, what is the rate so that I can make sure I have money for you?
Yeah.
It's always so awkward to ask.
So awkward.
I was like, what?
I'm like, just tell me what your rate is.
Like, what is the rate?
Yeah. Did she
and then she was like, well, like people usually pay me between $20 and $25 an hour. Some people pay me less. Some people pay me more. So just whatever you feel like. It's like, okay. Which is fine. At least she gave me a range.
Yeah.
But like sometimes babysitters are just like, whatever you feel like. And I'm like, you all have to be more confident in your pricing. Like, what is the price?
And just be straightforward up front because there are people who will pay like I honestly, like the cost of having a babysitter makes it not worth going out for me. So
I know.
I'm like, if Nan and Grandpa can't babysit, we're not doing it. Sorry, because I can't pay the more than it cost me to go do the activity on the babysitter.
Right. Like it's going to cost you at least $100 in the babysitter.
And like, and that's what they're worth. I'm like, you're taking care of my children. Like,
right.
You know?
Like I would pay you well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we, you know, because our nanny usually does it, she usually just like swaps hours for us. Right. So like if we're doing like a Friday night, we'll be like, okay, well, you know, don't come in until 1 p.m. or something,
Yeah.
and then just work the Friday night. Or if she takes a day off, then she kind of owes us
Yeah.
whatever. Not
Which is
like
the ideal
she's
situation.
taking like a vacation day. She
Of
doesn't owe us,
course.
but
No.
like
She's like,
when
can
we,
I swap
and
something?
so we just kind of like swap hours sometimes. So I don't even usually have to like, well, I'm paying for it. I'm just not paying for it
In addition.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, tell me your rate, because
Yeah.
So all that to say, like, know your rate, communicate it to people up front so that there's an agreement, so that you're not disappointed and they're not disappointed at the end. It's part of running a business or running a side hustle, is like, we got to deal with money, and money shouldn't have to be so uncomfortable. It's just like an exchange of value.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's not worth it. Like if I can only pay you $15 an hour to take care of my kids and it's not worth it to you, then that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Like, we need to be upfront about that.
Right. And I think especially with babysitter, like, I know this is not, but like, there's a difference between if you come over at 8 o'clock, my kids are in bed, versus come over at 4 o'clock and you have to feed my kids and put them to dinner, so it's like, yeah, can you just come sit in my house? Sure. $15 an hour.
Do you pay them a different rate? Or like, that is something me and my mom friends often talk about, is like, should I, like, they're literally coming over after my kids go to sleep sometimes. And this usually doesn't happen to us, like, usually because we're early birds too. Like, we go out at like 5.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not coming home until they're in bed. So
I would love babysitters to sound off in the comments, because I honestly have paid for babysitting like 3 times in my life. And every time it's been my friend's daughter. Once was when we went to Denver. Like, I paid her to watch my kids during the day for the week. But again, because we're like family friends, she was like, well, I'll do 1 day for free as like a gift to you guys. And then she's like, whatever you think. I was like, girl, you're watching my kid. You have to be dropped off at like 5 a.m. and you're going to be here till like 3 p.m. Like, what? I don't know. Tell me
whatever you think.
I think I gave her like $300 because she watched the kids for 4 days. She said 1 for free. And I was like, is $100 a day? Like, because then you also get like, the longer it is, the cheaper. Because it's like, well, I can't pay you $160 a day,
Right. Yeah.
So it's a very like confusing industry. And I think that babysitters need to be very clear, because there's nothing worse than not talking about that until you are there.
Until like, oh, now you're leaving my house and I have to pay you. Yeah, just tell me via text. Even though you're uncomfortable with it, like, it's more comfortable to tell me via text versus telling me to my face.
Yes.
Like, how much does this cost?
Yeah. And even the range of like, my rate is $20 to $25. If they were watching my kids and they were in bed, I'd be like, okay, well, here's $20 an hour. If they were watching my kids from like 2 to 6, I'd be like, okay, here's 25, because you had to feed them, you had to entertain them,
do all those things. Yeah.
Or the ages of kids.
Curious.
I think that's a big thing too.
Oh, multiple.
Younger kids cost more because they take more work.
Multiple kids. Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, I'm curious for the parents. Sound off. Do you pay your babysitters when they're sleeping? Do you set the rate? Do they set the rate? Like, you obviously pay them while they're sleeping, but do you pay them less, like, while the kids are sleeping?
Right.
You just pay them.
How does this work? Rate? I'm almost at the age.
What should we be doing?
Where my kids don't need a babysitter anymore, so I'm getting so close.
What a dream.
So close. I mean, I'm still a couple years out.
For you? Is there like a legal age? Because the legal age here is like way younger than I would have thought. But
so my girlfriend works for CAS, and like, we all lived under the misconception that the age was 12. And she's like, no, that's not like a legal thing. I think that's just like socially accepted for people like 12. Because like for Lila, that's grade 7. I'm like, grade 7, you feel old enough to stay home for an hour or two. There's definitely, I wouldn't leave them like, we're going out for a night. I'd be like, go to your grandparents' house, But I would leave them to go grocery shopping, or for James and I would leave them for dinner if James and I were just going to go grab dinner and be gone for 2 hours. Like, when my kids were 10 and 12, I think. But she said it really depends on the children. Like, Lila, I could leave now.
Like, their maturity level.
Like, she would be fine if I left her. She would just sit and like read a book. Oakley would burn the house to the ground. So.
Okay, so is there actually a minimum age, or she says no, it's just up to your discretion?
I don't remember. I think it might be 8.
There's in Florida, apparently, what age can a child stay home alone by state? It's state based in the US.
Yeah.
Guess what Florida's age is?
6.
There is no minimum age. There's no
Wow.
minimum age set. So goodbye. Goodbye, my children. Okay.
Oh my God.
For
Listen.
Maryland, 8 years old.
Yeah.
Most of the states, no minimum age. Wow.
Okay, listen to this though. Okay, I just Googled it about
10
Canada.
years old in New Mexico.
So
I don't know.
in 2 provinces in Canada, Manitoba and New Brunswick, the Welfare Act states that a parent cannot leave a child under the age of 12 unattended without making provisions for adequate supervision. In Ontario, the statutory limit is 16. But I wonder
And
what
we're over here in
adequate
the US, and we're like, no problem. They're 4. You're good.
I wonder what adequate provisions for adequate supervision. Like I wonder if telling a neighbor is adequate for a 14-year-old is enough, you know?
Yeah.
Curious. I'll have to do more research because
Yeah, this is
16 seems
wild.
wild to me. Like I had a job at 16. I can't stay home.
Yeah, 16. I was being left home alone at like probably 5.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying that's good, but it doesn't sound like it's illegal, you know?
Yeah. Wild.
Wild. Not sure how we got here, but hope everyone has a great day.
Yes.
Great week.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you next Tuesday.
We'll see you next Tuesday.